People, how's it going? So, if you don't know my name already, it is Grant. You can see that by the title of this channel. But I've been wanting to, I mentioned in my last video, upload a video going over basically the Disney kind of pre-website. So I figured I would break it up into two bits because there's plenty to talk about, just to go over the website. Because as a newcomer, it might be a little bit stressful. You don't know exactly what the specific details mean. And since I've already done the program, I know a little bit more about what they mean by specific issues. So let's get into it. Alright, so when you get onto the screen here, you will see welcome, your adventure awaits, basically. So it kind of gives you just a welcoming, I guess, but it's pretty simple. They email you this pre-arrival website. You can find it anywhere on the internet as well. I bet you if you just search Disney internships and programs welcome website or pre-arrival website is what they actually call it, it will probably pop up. So I figured I would split this in about 2 series or so, because there are a lot of options. It might even go to 3 if I talk about the checklist a little bit longer. And I figured I'll do the home, check-in details, let's say education, housing, Disney look maybe? Yeah, we'll see. So yeah, that makes sense because packing this in pre-checkle and working here. Okay, so let's start out at home. So you scroll down here, literally, that's it. It's the exact same thing that's up there, just has picture forms. So and it gives you some blog and stuff like that. I'm not really going to get into that much. But for pre-arrival checklist, we're going to do for another one. Let's do check-in details. Okay. So check-in details here. Alright, so I'm not international, so I'm not going to talk about international, but I am not in California either, so I'm not going to talk about California. So we are going to talk about Florida. Okay. So as of right now, there are 4 places that you can stay. There's Vista Way, Chatham, the Commons, and Patterson. So to break it up, I don't know, is there a way to look it up on the map here? Let's see. Alright, so this is Google Maps of Chatham. As you can see, Chatham's right here. Patterson is, it makes it seem like it's pretty close, but, and honestly, for the bus, you have to walk over here, walk down there, and walk right here for the bus. And then Commons, if we scroll up here, it's up here. And there are some buses that come into the Commons, but not all of them. So you might have to walk over here. So Patterson is where I lived, and honestly, it was very nice. It had a very nice pool. It's smaller, but it's newer as well. I had 3 roommates, and we had a 1-bedroom, so it was a bunk bed, and then a single, I believe is what it was. Since I'm taller, they let me sleep on the single, and it was $115 a week, so that adds up to $445 a month, right? Or is that $500? I'm really 15, 30, 60. Sorry, so $460 a month, so that's not bad. And that was honestly one of the cheaper ones as well, because there's 3 people in 1 bedroom. Obviously, the more bedrooms, it depends. The more space you have, basically, is more expensive. You could have a 2-bedroom and still pay probably the same price if you had 6 people. But if you had 2 bedrooms and only 2 people, 1 bedroom per person, then you're going to be paying quite a bit of money. So Chatham was nice because all the buses obviously go there. But it's a little bit busier, it's a little bit bigger, and I feel like it's for bigger groups as well, like roommates, like roommate list. They have all the events there as well, and like I said, all the transportation, and it's right by Mickey's Retreat, which I never went to because honestly there's not a whole lot of time, but and I didn't really have any of my sports equipment because there's basketball, there's soccer fields, stuff like that, but I didn't have anything. So I'm looking to do that next time. And then the Commons, they did have some events there. I didn't really spend that much time there. They had a store there, and that's it. Alright, so I had to figure out the directions myself. But so, started out at Patterson and Chatham here, and then up to the Commons. And Vista was a little out of the way, but it was a little bit more private. So, as you can see, you take the road here, road down a little bit, road down just a little bit more, road down a little bit more. Alright, and then Vista Way is right here. So you actually take this way and you go in right by the gas station here and go on in. So Vista was nicer because all the buses go there. It's the basically busing hub. They have basketball courts, they have tennis courts. I don't know about the pool there, but it's a little older too. But it was cheaper because it was more out of the way. So those are the 4 places that you can stay. Vista, Chatham, Commons, and Patterson. Prices are pretty similar, but they just recently introduced a new complex called the Flamingo, which I have no detail or that much information about it yet, but obviously as we go on into it a little bit more, I'll have a little bit more information. So for traveling by air, what I recommend is getting there a day early, because I did that. I didn't take my car. Actually, my car died. I didn't plan on taking it, but my car died like a month before, and I planned on only really using the Disney transportation anyways, because I was going there to work and I had school. I didn't really have time to do anything, not much else. But I would recommend buying your flight way in advance, buying round trip. Your last official day, or could be, or your departure day. Your last official day could be up to a week before, up to a day before, but your departure day, when you select, that is your day. So I'd recommend doing it midday. Like departure day, you can leave as early as you want, but like obviously you want to spend some time. There's a lot of times there you do have to be out by a certain time, but like I did mine relatively early, like I would say 10 or 11, and I had packed everything the night before, and I had an Uber basically pick me up right outside the apartments, and it was like a $25 Uber, and was on my way. But I recommend obviously arriving the day before, midday too, because if you're going to pay for a hotel, you might as well arrive a little early and enjoy Orlando, because you're already paying for it, so you might as well. And you can drop your bags off at the hotel, just in case. Like if they're not ready for you, they will do that for you. And go into Orlando, do something, go to Old Town or something. But the arrival, they say arrive in Orlando by 9 a.m. Some of the check-ins are as early as 8 a.m. So and you don't know until like a week before. So it's kind of crucial that you kind of get your plane before. And I bought mine round trip. And obviously I put, I added the feature where if I wanted to change the date, that is possible, because that is a big gap. And what if I wanted to extend? What if I wanted to stay a little bit longer? What if, I had to go home earlier? And so I would recommend doing that. But overall, I do recommend probably bringing a car. If you don't have, like, schoolwork, I guess, like, if you want to go places, it's hard to line things up with people's schedules because it's kind of all over the place, and a lot of times you end up hanging out with people that have the same schedule as you. And you hang out with them at work, and then you hang out with them outside of work because you have the same schedule. So I would recommend bringing a car if you want to travel outside the parks, like Orlando, go to the beach, because obviously you're only an hour to 2 hours, depending on which beach you want to go to. And it would make your life so much easier. You don't always have to drive. There's transportation. You can live. I fully lived without a car down there. And I did get some rides some nights when, I get out at 12:30 because otherwise I'm going to be home till 1:30. But that was just kindness to people's hearts. And traveling by bus or train, I would probably not recommend it. Okay. So let's see. Early arrival. So with this, they're not too strict about that, I would say. Early arrival, I was 15 minutes early and they still let me in, and you have to get in line anyways, and wait to go in and get your picture and get it's your housing ID is what it is. So, but obviously if you're going to be 30 minutes early, no. I would say 10 to 15 max, because they do have 30-minute thresholds. So your time is very specific. Like how I was saying that I think my arrival was I think mine was 9. My roommates were 8:30, but it's at 9. You check in, and then at 1 p.m. you have casting. So they have a real but for example, the people that will arrive at 9:30, their casting will be at 1:30. So it's very specific times, and obviously it kind of sucks if you're later in the day, because your casting will be pushed back to Tuesday or Wednesday, which you kind of want to explore a little bit when you're down there. So you would still get to explore, but it would just be chopped up a little bit more. Family, they do allow you not into the check-in area, which it only takes 15 minutes. They said it's 10 to 30, depends on the line. But into the actual apartments itself, they didn't ask for IDs or anything. They didn't ask you to sign something. Basically, they allow you in, and then you move in, and then they have to leave. Obviously, they can't stay the night, but they're pretty accommodating with families, and they're not allowing casting either, which is kind of obvious. But clothes doesn't matter for arrival. Just make sure Disney guidelines upon you look Disney when you actually do things. Oh boy, so this is longer than what I thought. Let's see. So you can choose your specific apartments or whatever, but it's obviously it's kind of obviously what they have available as well. I was never asked a drug test, but obviously certain roles they do. Post offer, there's options to extend or do the transfer genie to full time. So make sure for arrival you bring your license, you bring your social security, because I never saw anything about social security. And I didn't bring mine, and I freaked out because they were very accommodating. My mom ended up mailing it, overnight basically, and paid a bunch of money for that. And they were very they just said come back, in a couple days so we can get a copy of it. That's basically it. And they're not going to just kick you out. They were very nice about it. And it happens a lot. So for your specific locations, I would learn the lingo, because I had no clue what the lingo was or anything. I was at quick service at French Quarter, so my training form, my parents were asking, "Oh, where are you at?" And I was like, "I have no clue," because it's all abbreviated. It was PQ, PO, FQ, QS, FB. So it's but that stands for Port Orleans, French Quarters, Quick Service Food Beverage, and I had no clue what that meant. I was and I found that, Quick Service Food and Beverage, I found out what those were, but I didn't know my location. I literally had to ask people when I checked in. I was like, oh. So you gotta wanna do some research of what they mean. You know, there's Facebook groups you can message people saying, or just search it maybe, and it'll pop up. If not, you can post and people will know. So, alright guys, so I didn't realize that my camera battery, or not battery, but my memory stick in it was getting full. It was, honestly, I was wrapping it up anyways. I was talking about the acronyms and lingo, so I wanted to end it on the training schedule. So let's scroll down here. So for, okay, so for Disney traditions, as you can see, basically the week as a whole, how my week kind of played out was, so I moved in Monday, and then I had my casting the same day, which is like getting your picture for your Blue ID, getting, I can't remember if they fingerprint you, but filling out all your like other things, bring your social security so they can copy it, your ID, and then sometimes that can be Tuesday or Wednesday for you, depending on your arrival time on Monday. And then I'm trying to think exactly. So then traditions, which is basically basic training, welcome to Disney, meet Mickey, get your ears. It's Thursday and Friday, and at the end of Friday you actually go into Magic Kingdom, look around a little bit, and you get temporary park access for the weekend, because you have to wait until your actual pass comes in. It came in about Monday or Tuesday. I think it came in with the Blue ID. I don't remember exactly. I think you might get your Blue ID at I can't remember. It was just all a blur, honestly. But they have to like let you in via Blue ID because you don't have your annual pass yet. So basically on Saturday you start your, let me scroll up here. You start your location training. So depending on your role, I don't know all the roles, but like for example, French Quarter and Riverside, they had a place, like they had kind of like a health services place where you can get your costumes. There's a food kitchen, bathroom, little gym too, and changing room, like locker rooms. So they had meeting rooms there as well, like kind of like they had a table and projector and stuff like that. And you kind of do your morals training, and you learn about the resort, and you get quizzed on the resort and stuff like that. So that's pretty fun. And then there is additional training for your roles at Disney University for like food and beverage, stuff like that. But that's after you already, are training at your actual location. So and after that, you basically start 6 days a week, 5 days a week, depending on your job location, the need that they need for you. And yeah, so I wanted to wrap that up here. And I figured out the kind of what I'm going to do for the later episodes. I'm going to split it up between pre-arrival checklist and packing list, and then that would be probably the third episode. And then I'm also going to split it up between education, housing, Disney Look, and working here. And yeah, so I'll probably do more videos after that as well. But until then, if you liked it, like it. If you want to subscribe, and if not, whatever. But have yourself a great rest of your day.